have to discuss today. If you would rise for a moment of silence and the pledge.
Oh, thank you.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There is no comma. Look in the Constitution. Gonna be right. Okay, there are no public input cards, is that correct? Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, the interlocal agreement regarding distribution of local government infrastructure tax, surtax.
I gave you what they sent me.
Okay, Dr. Moxley.
Yes, board members, as you'll recall, the sales tax will sunset in 2017, and I know that Mr. Mathias has been representing the board as being a liaison as this has been being discussed among the governmental entities. There was an interlocal agreement that was completed and signed by the entities back, about 15, 16 years ago, when the first 1 cent sales tax was being brought before the voters. And so I believe the attorney for Lake County government forwarded a copy with some edits that were written by legal from the county government to Mr. Johnson, and he indeed did send that to each of you in a email. So you have this document before you. The request has been that you look at it and provide feedback, and the date that was asked by the county government was to have this back by April 17th. And so obviously, being April 13th, that is the reason for this special meeting.
Actually, I read that email to me today. I think it said that they wanted the comments back by April 17th and then it approved by
They're next Tuesday.
the 20,
Yeah, the 20th, yes. I think the 21st is their meeting, if I remember correctly, that they were going to be taking action. And, you can kind of go through it and you can see where there's things updated and changed and certainly, questions regarding what does this mean and the legalities of it. Mr. Johnson is certainly much more well-versed to answer those questions. I will tell you from a superintendent's point of view, I will tell you paragraph number 3 on page 2 causes me great concern. And the reason I have concern about this, and board members, certainly I'm not the one taking the vote here, but I feel compelled as superintendent to make a statement to you that paragraph causes concern for me because of the impact that has been so limiting on our capital dollars. And just having gone through the ABC committee and all the things that we have on our plates, and with the growth that is turning around and kicking in, just even with the 1 cent, the third of that, in the 15 years that this will cover, to have that limitation just on the school board and not other entities is concerning to me. And I, from my standpoint, would be very hard-pressed representing the constituents of this school district, i.e. 42,000 children, and the facilities that they need to be provided and afforded for quality education environments. That paragraph I cannot recommend to hamper the boards. But I understand the dynamics of it, but I need to call that out for you for your discussion. Okay, Mr. Mathias, you want to start since
Yep.
you're on the committee?
My recommendation after reading this is that paragraph 3 should go away in its entirety. That, in speaking to Mr. Johnson, the statute of allowing a school district to go for a half cent still would remain intact. So to hamper a board for 15 years that may have to make a decision to go for the half cent, while we wouldn't, I don't think we have any expectation of doing it right this minute, but there are boards in the future that may have to deal with it. And I believe that that's the only thing that I saw was the paragraph 3 that I believe should be deleted from the document.
And just to clarify, the paragraph 3 was in the last one. I was on a county commission, but it did not have this requirement that says, you know, if we even thought about it and came up with a discussion, then we're out of the loop. And that's basically what this one says. It really ties your hands. But I agree with Bill. I mean, as soon as Mr. Johnson sent this, I called him and said, I'm not doing number 3. So,
I've got a question.
Randy Berg?
If you look at 9 on the Sales Surtax Oversight Committee, they have removed the school board and added us in down along with the League of Cities. So where it was Lake County and the school board agreed to appoint 2 members, that has had a strike through. And then if you go on down, then it says that, well, it does have the school board shall agree to continue.
Yeah, it still has that. There was a reason, I read that the same way as you did the first time, Roseanne, and there was a way that it was worded, why they moved it down there from where it was. It was the wording of the thing.
You want to turn your mic on, please?
It's on.
It is? Okay.
Okay.
Because when I read it the first time, I read the same thing, and then if you look at it, what's been crossed out, I think they were saying that they were appointing, it was reading like they were appointing the 2 members, and what it clarified is down there is to say that the school board will appoint 2 members to the committee.
But it also adds an additional 1, does it not? Now they have 3?
Who has 3? The Lake County League of Cities will appoint 2.
Okay. School
Will
board.
appoint 2. Lake County,
Constitutional officers up to 3
3.
That's it.
will be
Okay.
invited.
So they added 1 to theirs and just reworded it and called it constitutional officers.
The committee, and that constitutional officers.
Should be 2 and 2.
So that gives them 1 more than us.
It's always been a 7.
Well, the issue is who are the constitutional officers?
That's the way I read it. It wasn't the way that you read it.
I mean, has the tax collector or the property appraiser ever been on?
No, sir. But this is opening it up to it.
What has been the advisory committee composition up till now?
We had 2 appointed from the school board. We had 2 from the county commission appointees.
There were 2 from the city.
And 2 from the cities, and 1 county commissioner oversees it. So that's 7. So it is 3.
So it was 2 appointed by the county plus the county
Right.
commissioner, so it was 3 from the county, the way it was. I'm not sure why it's that way, other than it's their committee. It is the county's committee.
It says they'll be invited, and if they want to participate, I don't see any problem with it at all.
Did you have a concern, Roseanne?
I didn't have a concern necessarily. It was more of a. of
Why
how
are
I-
they doing it this
Yes,
way?
why are they doing it this way? At first, it looked like we were being excluded and then being added back in later on, and I just want to make sure that we have an equal
Seat at the table.
seat at the table, exactly.
Okay. Mark?
I mean, just a guess as to why they were rewording this is so that way there wasn't verbiage in between the membership composition. But, you know, I guess I'm a little confused still on that constitutional officer component that, I mean, an elected school board member is a constitutional officer, and so, I mean, is that a way to grab more than 2 seats, or are we looking at other entities, you know, property appraiser, any of those folks? I wonder if there should be some
county-
more clarity around what those, who those
So you'd
people are.
like clarification as to what that's for?
Or is that 3 county commissioners? You know, it doesn't,
Yeah, it doesn't say that, does it?
Oh.
Well, my understanding is that we are not considered a constitutional officer. We are considered a school board member. A constitutional officer, because I was at a meeting, and I was not introduced when they introduced the constitutional officers, and then I was introduced later on.
Well,
I think
and that,
that's probably correct.
yeah, because as a superintendent, I'm considered a constitutional officer.
But you're specifically, I
different.
think you're specifically
different?
referenced in this Constitution.
Mhm.
I can find out about what they're intending to this if you want to.
That's what we need to
Give me
know.
3 minutes to go call her.
Okay.
All right, be right back.
Were there any other, Stephanie, did you have any concerns on anything? Comments? No?
They've been made.
But you are in agreement with the others on the number 3?
Yeah, I think it'd be difficult to bind the hands of any future board not knowing what kind of factors outside their control will be presented.
Well, and Steve was giving me some history, and that there was, the language was originally was put in there to appease those that were, so that we wouldn't come back and tax again.
Right.
So these are different times, and in the future will be different situations probably as well.
Okay. We're going to give him for the 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're taking a 3-minute break.
Can I speak to something while it's really not
Sure.
all that important?
It's not that important.
Well, sort of.
Okay.
Well, I talked to you about it, but I spoke to Tim Sullivan, and I've noticed at the board meetings, particularly the ones where there's a large crowd, and the sheriffs are escorting, particularly the 3 of y'all, to your cars, or offering it anyway. So it seemed reasonable to me to call, and I spoke to Tim Sullivan, and it was about, when the county commission is at meeting, can we use their parking places? That way, it would put out we'd have our own district parking, and it would give one area that an officer could protect y'all, all of us, go into our cars. And Tim Sullivan was inclined, he didn't get back to me whether he was going to ask the board chair, but in the case of Tim, he said, well, just go ahead and use my parking place anyway. So sort of all about me, I'm taken care of. But
So it wasn't important. You were right.
No, but I think if you made it, if you just made like a formal, I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanted to reach out.
I will.
Because you had some other insight to it that
Yeah.
maybe, but I think if we frame it as life safety, and it just seems reasonable.
I will formally ask. Yes, sir. But you go right ahead and park him, Mr.
I'm parking here tonight.
Not if I get there first.
Call Mr. Cadwell.
That's right.
Anything we can be talking about?
Do you
Actually,
want to do
Cadwell's my
any?
district.
I know we
Do
have,
those
I know
tonight.
we have a board meeting tonight, so the comments will come tonight.
Everybody wants to do their comments tonight in the public meeting, right? Okay, I'm just trying to get a filler here. You want to dance?
That's right, yeah. Does anybody want to make their public comments right now?
Do you?
I don't have any. I'm good, yeah, I'll make mine.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. Harry, I'm glad you're smiling today. It's much better when you're smiling.
It's been off for 2 months.
Natalie, don't put any of that in the meeting. Woo-hoo!
You
You
left a
got some
message.
power.
You may explain?
Yes, sir.
There are 9 members of the committee under the ordinance. It's set up, the counties 2 are appointed in the ordinance. You'll see the ordinance reference there, 2-90.42 to 90.46. The county appoints 2 people are appointed from the county under the ordinance, so that makes 2, 4, 6. The three are what I thought it's the tax collector, the clerk, and the property appraiser are invited. And Melanie tells me that at least two of them have people that are currently attending the meetings and participating in the committee.
It's a tax collector, property appraiser,
And
and
clerk,
About the sheriff?
well, I guess they invited the other three, and they could, I assume if they want to swap that around, invite three different ones.
So if the county ordinance changes in the term of the 15 years to increase the number of participants that the county receives, then
Yeah, probably.
they're not
Probably
locked
could,
into two.
Because it is their committee. They're inviting, essentially, I think how they're looking at it, it's their committee that we're being invited to participate in.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay, any other comments on that? Clarified? Okay. We do need to make those decisions and send them back to the Board of County Commissioners Chair so that he has our comments. So do I need a motion on that, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a motion
So moved.
to do what?
Strike paragraph 3.
Okay.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you
And
very
so
much.
it's clear from the record, the action of the board was to submit the last revised interlocal agreement regarding distribution of local government infrastructure surtax to the county commission as approved with the exception of the deletion of paragraph 3 of the current draft. Is that right?
Correct.
That's what I meant to say.
I thought so.
Thank you very much. Okay, board member comments we're going to do tonight. Superintendent?
I have for tonight.
Okay. Attorney? This meeting is adjourned. And